Okay, very first cinematic session. Okay, what you're watching now is a brand new format. Yes, nice background. This is not a green screen, even though that's a piece of glass. Yeah, in the background is the beautiful city of Melbourne. Melbourne CBD, we're in the hotel of Metropole in Crown.
Melbourne really is beautiful.
Yes.
I highly recommend.
And Crown is not naturally my home turf, so of course I make this kind of videos on my home turf. So the reason I'm making this video is I actually want to have a one-on-one conversation between me and Corey, talking about what has happened ever since I would say October last year.
Okay.
Yeah, remember last time we actually truly talked about Bitcoin Cash was at the meetup. Yeah, remember still vividly the meetup, and in Brisbane. And shout out to everybody who was at that meetup. And unfortunately, my prediction became true. Yeah, I told everybody back then at the meetup that you have to prepare for bad times to come. Now the good news I have for everybody is the bad time's over. This was it. That was as bad as it gets. That was as bad as it gets. Can I predict all the way down to last dollar how low Bitcoin Cash could drop? No, I can't. Nobody can. Nobody can. This is impossible. However, it wasn't visible to me that the market is due for a major correction. Everything was set up that way. The good news is now the correction is over, and bad news is even we become billionaires next week, we might not survive it. So I want to really truly focus on the priority 1, 2, 3 in this conversation. And this might take a while, so you might grab a tea and decide if you want to watch the whole thing, or you find I lost all my credibility just because one of my possible future scenario in one of my dreams didn't become reality simply because that was the best case scenario. And let me just remind you, investing is not a certainty game, it's a probability game. And there's always the high probability event and low probability event. And we're infinite amount of timeline, infinite amount of probability and future. For example, right now, while I'm making this video, for all you know, I might smash the window and jump out. If I do that, video is over. My life is over. So I wouldn't. So, but you don't think I would do that, but some people crazy enough will do it. So that is the example of infinite future, infinite probability. Your future is not depending on what I tell you. It's actually depending on what do you understand from what I say. Because most people, what they do is just selective hearing. This is the one of the worst thing in investing. So it's people just selectively hear what they want to hear and disregard everything else. And this is one thing we always talk about, is that we have to evaluate every single scenario, talk about everything. And that's the reason even we made a video about him selling the car, buying more Bitcoin Cash. Ultimately, you didn't sell the car. You still have the car, right? In fact, the car is grown so much to his heart that right now, I have a hard time convincing him to sell his mini convertible, despite all the difficulty along the way. Yeah. And it's not an easy, straightforward line. For example, some people in your town became so jealous, they start throwing eggs at your car while the car was parked at your house. Or they purposely damage your car, scratch the car. This is all small town thinking. So that's the reason I always told him to get out of that place. Now, beautiful Melbourne's one a good first starting point. Maybe he will start his new life here or somewhere else. Who knows? I don't know. It's his life, not mine. Now, Corey, let me ask you this. We spent a lot of time in the last few months together. What is the one thing you would take away from the time that people didn't see me being active on YouTube? Did I just sleep? Just did nothing? Was I just hanging around and lazy?
So do you mean a summary from my perspective
highlight
of your life?
Correct.
Last 10
Because
months?
I cannot give people back everything I did in the few months. It was quite a few months, from November all the way to now. It was 4.5 months. Give me some highlights.
Well, you had a number of different ideas.
Yeah.
Like there was the ideas for Surfing Angels and a whole big series and other things to do with that. There was a couple other ideas about, I think this could work and this could happen and all that, but ultimately they didn't kind of continue with that.
Because there was no viewership.
Yeah.
Because it's like shooting a pilot. If you shoot a pilot for a new series, if no one wants to watch it, then I can only say I'm bad at it, or the pilot is wrong, or people we are in the pilot is not good, and the feedback is not as good as expected. Therefore, just disregard. Yes, sure.
Other than that, you've seemed very happy over the last few months.
I was not crying and saying,
no.
"Guys, can calm down" and all that stuff.
No.
Yeah.
We were living our life better than we've ever lived it.
Yeah, freedom. Actually, I felt freedom because I don't have to make videos every day. Most people don't understand. Making video like this looks simple. You take 5 minutes to consume the video. It takes me 5 hours to make the video.
Honestly, it's been quite relaxing for me. Just going to a place for the fun of going to a place.
Correct. Without the camera following us around, even though we have our own cameraman.
And Instagram is a lot less stressful than YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, Instagram is easy, man. Instagram is like the baby mode, the easy mode. Yeah, try YouTube, proper YouTube. It's hard because you are competing against other people who are living off internet. You're living off the income from advertising. I don't care how much I get. Zero doesn't matter to me. But however, through the process of selective process of not posting for a while during the downtrend, it is easily crystallized what kind of people are actually watching my channel, which type of people are get rich quick type of people, which people are really there to learn, which type of people are truly interested in knowing learning how to invest. And I can tell you sincerely from my now personal experience, there's literally only 1 or 2 people from the entire circle of people I've not met yet who are really interested in learning. Most people just looking for a hot tip, run with it, and decide to thinking based on the most recent action in the price and their own interpretation of the price. Then they decide, am I the prophecy guy or not? This is one of those things I have to strongly advise everybody to stop doing. Is regardless of my channel or any other channel, past prediction has no bearing on future outcome. They are unrelated. It's a bit like a dice roll. If I show you a dice, I throw the dice, 3 times the 6 comes up. Does it mean the next time is more likely a 6? No, not at all. The probability is still the same.
Still 1 out of 6 no matter what.
Still 1 out of 6. But most people think the dice is unloaded. Basically, people on YouTube looking for the loaded dice. Something like, oh, I'm looking for the one guy who is consistently always correct, and therefore I just need to follow that guy. That's the system. I get rich quick. In reality, even
a person is not a system.
Yes.
A system is a system.
Correct. If you have to rely on the person to do that for you, by itself, your system already failing. Yeah. In reality, there's no shortcut to hard work. How many hours do I spend on investing? Think about it. What's the hourly time I spend every day? Now you've been spent quite a few days with me from the waking hour to the sleeping hour, literally speaking, because we share rooms. Yeah, separate beds naturally, but nevertheless, you observe me firsthand my behavior. How much waking hour do I spend time on self-improvement, investing, and social interaction?
It's kind of difficult to say because to a certain extent they all overlap so much.
Yes, correct.
Like visiting Oriton was for, let's say, social purposes, but it was also because you used to invest in the company.
Correct.
And coming to Crown was a convenient place to come and was also highly beneficial for social purposes, but also you used to be one of the top investors in that company.
Correct.
And meeting all these new people was mostly for fun because you really enjoy socializing.
Like the coffee girl yesterday, right? At the Nescafe. Shout out to you.
Also, meeting people can be useful for making new connections and stuff.
Correct.
So because you don't have a specific and this is work and this is not, everything kind of overlaps in a certain way. So what is investing and what isn't is hard to say. I mean, the reason we came on this trip was for a car, which is to be flipped to make money. But that turned into an experience and an adventure, which, I mean...
By the way, I never told anybody about on YouTube. That's okay. But by then, when you're watching this, very soon we'll be sitting in that car in hopefully 2 hours' time. We'll be sitting in that car, and you guys can see what car it is. But the truth is that I don't have any other thing to do in life other than full-on looking at opportunities, let's call it that way. Whether it's capital opportunity or human capital opportunity or relationship opportunities, I'm always open to new opportunities.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And I don't restrict myself saying, okay, this is a very, very important thing, because I always tell people don't go for confirmation biases. Do I ever look for confirmation biases? Means,
no,
do I go around ask people, do you think I'm right? If you're wrong, you don't think I'm right, I walk away. If you tell me I'm right, I just listen to you. I never do that. In fact, I usually do the opposite. I usually do the opposite. I usually don't talk to people who think the same way as I do. Instead, if someone, for example, tells me that he's against crypto, I'll listen up. I absolutely listen up.
Yeah.
The same thing I'm teaching you about that. And another thing is because YouTube channel can never cover everything of a person's life, and this is not a reality TV show. And I'm not an editor. I'm not creating a storyline behind my life. All I'm doing is trying to use YouTube as a time capsule for the upcoming generation in the future to see how his ancestors behaved and talked and did life, right? Because this kind of time capsule is going to be incredibly interesting and unparalleled, valuable very soon. If all this is destroyed, for example, anything behind us could be gone in a flash. Literally speaking, everything behind us could be gone in a flash. 1.5 megaton, all you need is that. So then a time capsule of past life will become incredibly valuable. And that's the reason I'm now starting this video again. I sincerely tell you guys, there was a moment of time I told Corey, I said, I'm never going to make another video again.
Yeah, he genuinely said, I'm done with YouTube. I got what I need from it. I did the experiment.
Yes, it was a pure social experiment. I didn't actually not want to start a video ever again. And do you know actually the reason why I start again? I never told you actually, because I only just started a few days ago. Same reason I reinstalled.
He
it's gonna get
decided to go on a fast for Instagram, and because I remember he was reading the book called Stolen Focus. He was telling me about what a great book it was.
Shout out to Johan Hari.
And then you sent me a message one day. It's like, just read this book, I'm now deleting Instagram, whatever. And I think I lasted about a month or so.
Yeah, 1.5 months. I was off Instagram for 1.5 months.
And I genuinely thought he was done forever. But I think it was mostly for social purposes. If you met someone new, you needed to be able to say, this is my Instagram, look me up, and then they can see all the, like a social resume. And you can just say, this is my Instagram, follow me here, or, you can get in touch later and all that kind of stuff. So you realize that the utilitarian benefits you simply couldn't do without.
No, I can't. Simply can't. Because without Instagram in today's environment, you are absolutely nobody. And nobody has the, patience to learn about you without looking at Instagram as a shortcut. I do the same thing. If someone I meet new, if the person has Instagram, I take a quick glance, see roughly what kind of person I'm dealing with, but I still do not use that as reference point, right? And I will never judge another person based on Instagram alone. Vice versa, same thing. I'm not the person on Instagram. I'm not the person on YouTube. I'm closer to reality on YouTube than Instagram. I reckon that way, because you cannot act. You cannot act over hundreds of hours, hundreds of hours being somebody else. You can't do that. And literally, I just recently met somebody who I always wanted to meet but never met before. I finally had a chance to meet. And this person told me that, I asked a very sincere question, am I any different than on YouTube?
Yes.
And that person told me, no, not at all. I'm 100% exactly who I am. And that was literally the best compliment I've gotten in years.
Yeah, I found that quite interesting.
So those things they explain. I need this explanation to people for them to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. Now, the ultimate motivation for me to come back to YouTube to make video now is not about money, as always. Also, it's not about teaching investing anymore. Instead, I really want to use this platform, regardless how small my platform is, to change a little bit of the future of the world. Even it means I change the life of one person, one family, so that they will survive and thrive in the upcoming difficult time. The upcoming time is going to be incredibly difficult. There's no other way around it. There's really no other way around it.
I agree with you, but from a viewer's perspective, why should they believe you now? So many times throughout decades past, people have said, this time is the end.
Oh, I
why
see.
now?
I see. You don't have to. You just look out the window. It's a bit like saying, why do you believe me that I'm in Melbourne and the sky is blue? It may be a green screen. This may even be a green screen. Who knows? We are using high tech. You can say all kinds of things, right? People are mean on YouTube. They're really mean. They're really mean. I mean, you can be mean to me, it's fine, but don't mean to the little boy here. He's still only 18. No joke. Don't worry. He's tough. You can say whatever you want. One of the first things we learn about is being tough. Emotionally tough, physically tough, and I don't care. I mean, one guy comment say something like, "Are you my lover?"
Yeah.
Only insecure people comment like
Yeah.
that. Okay. Whoever wrote that comment, if you want to come out of your closet, do it. I have a lot of gay friends, and I look up to them. And by the way, I grew up in a town called Cologne, which is the capital of all gay people in Germany. They have a gay parade every year, and I go there as well. Well, I'm not gay. I have never been gay, will never be gay. This is not something I can change.
Neither am I.
Yeah. If you are thinking you have a chance with me, sorry. Yeah, I like women. Or do I? Yeah. So the truth is simple. You can never make everybody happy on the internet, therefore stop trying.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. I find personally, using this platform, be yourself is the best possible way. There's no other thing you can do to leave a legacy behind than trying to help other people. And I feel refreshed after the break, and my mission now is very, very simple now. It's not about promoting any coins anymore. It's about establishing a legacy for myself, where at least some people who meet me along the way say, this guy actually helped me, truly helped me. He added value to my life without asking anything in return. That's all that is. Because there's plenty of other people who did the same to me. One prime example being Ray Dalio. Right now I'm listening to the audiobook of Ray Dalio's New World Order.
The Changing World Order.
The
Changing World Order.
The Changing World Order.
I highly recommend it. One of the
Yes.
best books, hands down, I have read in a long time. If you're into like economics or history and stuff like that, it brings them all together from a very pragmatic perspective.
Yes.
And it's so well researched, and Dalio
Yes.
is so humble.
Yes,
He
he's
doesn't,
humble.
He doesn't use academic language, and he doesn't, try to obfuscate things and try to sound as though he's speaking from a high horse, trying to just sound smart. He's genuinely just trying to help people understand the world.
Correct.
Highly recommend it.
Correct. And this is a guy who made billions in the market. I haven't, so maybe one day I will, maybe not. But the key is this: you recognize the smart people by recognizing they don't think they are smart. I have never told people I'm smart, by the way. I don't. I have a high IQ, yes. I believe I also have a high EQ. But I never go around and say, do you know I have a high EQ and IQ? Do I ever do that? Never.
You demonstrate it with your action.
I don't even try to do that. It's not the point. That's not the point. So the point is you have to stay humble, because anytime you lose your ability to be humble, the market will punish you.
Yeah.
I've been punished many times over because I lost myself. Yeah, and so now I want to avoid that mistake, and I'm learning from other people every day, just like you're learning every day from other people as well. Hopefully I'm only one of the many people you learn from. If that is the case, congratulations. That shows that you are able to and willing to learn. And ableness and willingness to learn is probably the number one criteria you need to become an investor. But to truly become a true blue professional investor, you have to dedicate yourself to the craft and spend basically every waking minute towards the improvement of your craft. And this doesn't change. It does never change, and you never stop. And there's no break, and you basically can never be good enough. You can't be good enough. Like a sushi master who do sushi 50 years. You ask a sushi master from Japan, ask him, are you the best in sushi making? No, he say no. Are you perfect? No, nobody is perfect. So nor do I say that about myself. That's the reason some people keep asking me, what about certain predictions you made in the past? What about this price, that price? Honestly, all that is completely irrelevant. Not to me, not to you, not to anybody. Nobody cares. The reality is you have to adapt to the truth that is in front of you, not behind you. Behind you is the timeline, in front is your choice. What you choose to do in front of you is what actually is important. So I hope this message gets out to as many people as possible, understanding that right now the priority number one for me personally is still get as many people into safety as possible. The only downside is most people say that they want certainty before they make a move, right? That's the whole thing. Because that's the most common question.
I mean,
how do you know
nice?
for certain? Yeah, wouldn't it be nice that you have an exact certainty? You know what's a certainty? Go kill yourself. After you're dead, certainty is in. You will never come back.
That's the end of the
today's statement. Correct. That is the certainty. Even taxes are not even certain anymore. Only death is certain. You want certainty? Die. Yeah. I don't want to die. I want to live. 111 is actually my minimum target. I actually want to live to 130, 140. It's possible to do so. So while I'm well prepared for the nuclear war, at the same time I'm still studying life extension. That is what I do. Yeah. So that and ultimately
Certainly, simply isn't an attainable thing
Impossible.
at all in this game. And
Impossible.
nor should you even try to get close to
No.
it. It's just about probability. Just balancing risk and reward. That's all you can do.
Correct. If you're able to balance the risk reward towards your favor, then you just need to stay long enough in the game.
Yeah.
You will win. It's practically the opposite of the casino behind me. The reason the casino make money is because the risk reward is tilted towards the casino. So if enough people play long enough, the casino by default will win. That's the reason I invest in this company, or used to do. And so the same thing you have to do with your investment. You look for the high probability event and stay long enough. Then the probability will tilt to your favor. Then soon enough, you're gonna win. The only problem is nowadays they want to win right away, and they want to win big. Nowadays people are not happy with just winning anymore. They want to win instantaneously and win the big prize.
Unless it's a 10x within 2 weeks, it's not worth it. Apparently.
Yeah, that is the most deadly mindset you can find. That basically makes you a gambler, and there will be no cure for that. Yeah, absolutely no cure. Once your mindset is set on the gambling process, then it's game over. Before I end this video, I'm gonna shout out to somebody in the Caribbean. This guy has been diligently done a 28-day challenge with my guidance. I never told anybody. I didn't even tell you about it. He's on Instagram. His Instagram handle is 28-day transformation or something like that. He currently has exactly only one follower, which is me. Because I told him do the simple thing: 28 days, go to gym,
Go to cafe.
and go to cafe for 28 days straight. He did that, and congratulations. Now you're ready for the next step, which is read the book of Ray Dalio. Ask him to audio the book or listen to the audiobook. Ideally do both, because honestly, don't need a university degree. If you can fully understand the book of Ray Dalio, the changing cycle?
The changing world.
Word of it. I can't remember the titles. Yeah. All I know is the graphic. I'm a visual memory guy. The graph of the cycle. If you can study that book and understand 100% of what the book says, which I don't. If you can, congratulations. You don't need the economics degree. You don't need the history degree. You are there. You're ready to go. Then you will understand 100% why I'm trying to get everybody on board to help themselves to survive the nuclear war. It's inevitable. It's just inevitable. This is how else would this thing plays out. You think Putin is going to put down his arms without fight? Because he's going to Den Haag. Den Haag is waiting for him, and the gallows is waiting for him. He's already today. As a mass murderer, he already killed millions of people now.
The sentence between killing 4 people and
200 million or 200 million? It's the same.
It's the same.
Same sentencing. So he has no more downside risk. He has zero downside risk, only upside risk. How would you bet? Of course, and he hasn't even touched his trump card yet, which are the 6,000 to 8,000 nuke he has in his arsenal. Think about it, people. There's a reason why NATO and the US doesn't want to get involved in this conflict. But guess what? They will have to, sooner or later. They don't have a choice. So, word of caution, don't just look for news that confirms your biases. Listen to everybody, make your own judgment, and get ready for huge changes for the rest of your life. Year 2022 is the year. We are here. The end is nigh.
Okay. On that cheery note, we conclude the video.
Bye-bye. Happy apocalypse.